Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 201 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Josh Ray joined alongside Nathan Derrick, as per usual, live on the Area 51 Sports Network Twitter/X and the Terminal City FC YouTube. And if you're wondering why it's such a late time and such a bizarre time, yeah, Friday night, we were busy, particularly me, over the past few days, but we weren't gonna go the week without a show. So yeah, let's get into the things. A lot of stuff happening. Whitecaps in the thick of it all with all these competitions, MLS, Canadian Championship, and an eventful week. Let's start over the weekend where they headed down to Kansas City to play Sporting Kansas City. Missing a bunch of starters, but that didn't matter. 2-0 win.
Started it early with Ocampo. Great 1-2 passing between him and Emmanuel Sabi down the right.
Yep.
Ocampo, I want to say it was 74 seconds into the match that he had
something like that. It was like, I think, earliest goal this season by any team.
It's the earliest goal for the Whitecaps this season. But you know what? It never really looked like they were going to turn it the other way. This was a relatively handled game right from the very beginning.
Yeah, like the first half was pretty much all Whitecaps. And yeah, Eddie Ocampo, like 74, 75 seconds in, whatever it was, got the Caps on the board. Beautiful 1-2 and great run by Ocampo. Then just a few minutes before halftime, I believe, Kenji Cabrera in his first start with the Whitecaps. We haven't seen him play that much since he signed. He gets around Zoran Bazong and then just goes off the goalkeeper and into the net. Just great individual effort there.
Yeah, really good turn in order to find the net. And basically he blew through three different SKC players in order to find that space inside the box. Strong play. We knew this when Cabrera signed with the Whitecaps. When we took a look at our deep dive in him, he was a guy that was told that he has a very low center of gravity. He's able to hold the ball in pressure situations because he's playing so much lower to the ground. It's tough to knock him off.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that goal was. It's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, just with the way he handled the ball at his feet and he got around all the defenders. Just a really well-taken, executed goal. Whitecaps were up 2-0 at the half in Sporting Kansas City, and then Kansas City tried to get back into the game in the second half. The Whitecaps were kind of smothered in their own half, but there really wasn't much worry as the back was good, especially Bilal Halbouni, who made that really good tackle with like less than 10 minutes left to go, preventing a breakaway. And Gyohei Takaoka only made one save, but it was a pretty good save.
Things started to go off the rails a little bit when we started to see changes. And this, again, goes to the depth that the Whitecaps have right now. This is a team with depth, but they're using that depth right now with the glut of injuries they have. So once they start taking players out of this starting 11, which already, let's be honest, is a patchwork starting 11, we start to see that consistency, that familiarity of all the different players who play together. We start to see that fall apart because we're now starting to put together pairings of players that haven't seen a whole lot of each other in game situations.
We'll talk about that more with the Portland game, but yeah, the Sporting Kansas City game, things started to go off the rails, but really Kansas City, they tried, but nothing really that really was too dangerous other than maybe one or two. And they had that save from Takaoka was pretty much a long distance save, but it was a great save anyway.
Was the referee and his consistency of handing out yellow cards.
Yeah, she was handing out yellows like
candy,
like Oprah. You get a yellow, whatever. And Eddie Ocampo got too many yellow card accumulation. So did Andres Kubas. They did not play in the game against Portland, but overall, that game against Kansas City, they took care of business despite not having White, Muller, Gald, Blackman, and the rest of the injured crew.
Yeah.
And Ali Ahmed talked about it after the game. He said, it's next man up mentality. It's something that's been a theme for the Whitecaps all season. One guy goes down, another guy's ready to step up.
The one thing I like about this, and especially with that next man up mentality, it's that while there is still that healthy competition for spots in the squad, when when you're not being called, you're still ensuring that you're ready for that moment when you actually are called, because the way things have been going this season with injuries, it's coming.
Yeah, and we've seen so many players like you don't really expect to see on the team sheet a lot. Like Tate Johnson, no one expected him to play this many games.
Not at all.
That was
I got to be
especially because
honest.
Sam
We're starting to
Adekube's
see a lot
injuries.
of people's lists for the top 22 under 22. I'm really surprised
No
I'm not seeing
Whitecap,
Team Johnson on that.
not even Eddie Ocampo.
No, it is. I find that very surprising. And again, it has to go with the fact that when it comes to any sort of sport like this, goals get rewarded. Defense ignored, right?
The list is mainly like forwards and midfielders. I don't know if there's any defenders on that list.
I would have to take a look. The only report I saw that actually mentioned Tate Johnson, I believe there was one that mentioned him, but they more had him as an honorable mention, which I think is really much a disservice to the player, because his play at that position has got him so well noticed that he got himself into the U21s for the United States.
Yeah, and if there is an MLS Rookie of the Year or a Newcomer of the Year, but a fullback, it's kind of hard.
Fullback, it'll never
be. It's always the. I'm actually going to bring up some people's lists right now so we can. Where's the share screen? Oh yeah, here. And come on. Here's Tom Bogert's list. Not a single Vancouver Whitecap on there. Yeah, these guys are mostly like forwards, midfielders. Vargas, Quinn Sullivan, a midfielder. Darren Yappe's, I believe, a forward as well. And Nathan Ordas, I thought he was like 25. It surprised me. But if you look at Joseph Lowry's list from he's back heeled, right there, 18, Tate Johnson.
Hey, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, Vargas. Yeah, I see Vargas as a common Matt Doyle.
Matt Doyle, I think, was who I had seen at least mention Tate Johnson as kind of more of an honorable mention. But
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, Ordaz. Yeah, mostly forwards. Kelsey forward. Oh, there's a center back. Noah Allen. There's a wing back from New England.
All right.
Right back. Oh, it's Philadelphia. East teams. Okay. Center back. Nicholas from Minnesota. Quinn Sullivan. Yep.
That does happen.
Goalkeeper, Chicago. He's good. Another left back. Oh, it's San Diego, though.
One of the reasons why I think it might not happen as much is that when we talk about it time and time again, is that those defensive positions it all usually takes a lot more for, just someone's body to actually catch up to the brain, right? And those are very, very physically based positions. A lot of times they've already passed that 22 age mark before the rest of them actually catches up.
Yeah, so at least we saw one writer have Tate Johnson on there, but no love for Eddie Ocampo, unfortunately. No. And just having guys like Johnson, Ocampo, Badwell, Priso step up when needed. It's really good to see. It's a big reason why the Whitecaps are where they are in the standings.
And there's quite a few other players that have been signed to full contracts this year from the academy that we probably can't talk really about in that position for this year, but next year, Pierre, Illumi, O'Neill.
Mark O'Neill. We haven't seen him play yet.
Yeah, but there's definitely going to be, I think, a lot more players in the mix.
Yeah, and so a couple of days ago, Wednesday night at BC Place, Cascadia, Derby, Portland Timbers came to town. You mentioned that players not, gelling well because they haven't played much together. We saw that in the first half, because first half it was pretty much all Portland Timbers. Whitecaps struggled to get out of their own half. The passes were all over the place. Defensively, they kept getting cooked, especially Jessup Bovalina as a right back, because he's barely played this season.
There's a number of things. One, this was the second youngest squad that the Whitecaps have put out this season. And it was very apparent to see once you see all the different players out there, especially when you're attacking 1-2 punch, is Cabrera in a second start and Alumi in his first start. I felt bad for Giuseppe. Giuseppe's
I did too.
He's not a fullback. He's a very, very attack-minded wingback.
He's a
if anything, right? He was brought in underneath the Vanni Sartini system where they played with a back three, and Bovalina was never expected to come back, right? Yeah. Now, Ocampo was the same thing, but Ocampo has had the benefit of consistent play. And look what that's done to him throughout this season. Bovalina has basically been thrown into the wolves.
I can't remember the last time Bovalina started.
Yeah,
probably not like since
that is a very difficult situation, but I agree with you 100%. He was the weak link in that first half. I mean, it was to the point where I thought at the 45 that they were going to move Laborda over and try something else at center back, whether it was give O'Neill a shot or drop Sebastian Berhalter into a center back position, which he has done before, and then putting
he's playing a right back even,
right? Yeah. It's not what we saw. Instead, we saw Sorensen opt for more attack-minded changes. Ahmed came in for Nelson, and immediately we saw a big change. What Ahmed was able to create, especially from the right or from the left side, he has the ability to cut in. He is so much more dominant when he is able to do that from the left. Oh, you're muted there, Josh.
Yeah, he was just cutting in like from the left side. You saw there was a new dynamic in that attack when Ahmed came on because he was just all over the game, making crosses and everything. But we also, like in the first half, it would have been much worse without Yohei Takaoka.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yohei Takaoka stood on his head. In the first half hour, he had 5 very big key saves. I believe it was 6 or 7 by the end of the half. I think it was 7 shots on target. Obviously, there was the one goal that came very, very late. Kamal Miller, you are never going to see Kamal Miller score like that in his career. Bit of a different position for Miller than what we're used to. Left back position, beautiful shot, absolutely.
Yeah, we were like, why is he playing at right back? He's a center back, and then all of a sudden he just gets that half volley. Yeah, no chance for Takaoka on that ball anyway. Just a beautiful goal, one of the goals of the season.
In front of him, I don't even think he saw it until that ball passed the penalty spot.
Yeah, I think everybody in the stadium was just mesmerized by how that goal went in because. You're never going to see Kamal Miller, of all people, score a goal like that ever again in his career.
Yeah, but you know what Kamal Miller is doing? He's taking a clip of that goal and he's sending it to Jesse Marsh. Remember me, right?
Remember me? I want to play in the World Cup. I mean, that's one way to make your case, but for the Whitecaps, like, they did not get a single shot on target that was credited until the 84th minute.
84th minute.
Which
is very, very...
not good.
You're not going to win games if you go, pretty much the majority of the game without a shot. Now, to their credit, they did score. Brian White came on in the 60th minute. Huge applause. First time that we have seen him on the pitch in a month. It was great to see him again. And already we started to see that press that he does, that he is so good at, forcing errors from
that hold-up play,
recovering the ball, bringing it in, and getting the goal off the corner kick, 88th minute.
Yeah, Laborda apparently touched it first, but White just got the last touch off his boot and then tie game. Could have won it like 2 minutes later from the ball from Ahmed. To be fair, it's hard to control, but just go wide on the
Ahmed just wide. Brian White just wide. Emmanuel Sabi off the crossbar.
Yeah, I mean, they could have won it.
I mean, you know what? You hope your team shows up for 90 minutes. And let's be honest, there was other things going on with this, the injuries, the lineup, and all that stuff. But that was a hell of a final 10 minutes.
Yeah. The second half was much better, to say the least, for the Whitecaps. It was a tale of two halves for both teams. And Simon Fudge was talking about this in the media room after the game. He said, which I agreed with, Portland, they turn on and then they turn off in games and throughout the season. That's been the story of their season.
Portland's a very good team building up, but once they get into an attacking third, oftentimes you're wondering, what are they going to do with it? And you start to think that the players themselves are wondering, what are they going to do with it? Because even if you take a look in that first half, a lot of their shots weren't high danger shots. Like, I believe of their 8 shots that they had in the game, their XG was only 1.
Yeah.
Right?
I can probably think of one where Tagoka made a good point blank save.
Yeah.
There was also
even Kamal Miller's is not a high XG shot
because it's from like 25 yards out.
Exactly. It catches Takioka off guard because of everyone else in front of him. But you're expecting that ball to not do what it did, especially from someone like Kamal Miller
under the bar. Yeah.
That is the story of Portland, is that they find space. They don't know what to do with the space, or they can't break into the box, and so every shot is these ones that, hey, they get a lot of shots, but they don't get a lot of conversions. Turning those into goals.
Yeah, kind of like the Whitecaps of the past couple of years.
Yeah,
like a lot of don't get a lot of conversions, create space, but don't know what to do with it, and I think Portland maybe had like 1 or 2 shots in the second half because it was all Whitecaps.
I count one on target.
Yeah,
one on target.
And I think Takaoka handled that one easily.
Yeah. It was much better defensively. And the one thing I think you got to talk about in this game is Bilal Halbouni and to an extent, Matthias Laborda. Laborda has stepped in the center back position. It's like, he's reminded of what he needs to do, and to his credit, he's doing the simple things. Bilal Halbouni, since I believe this is now that was his 6th or 7th game starting. Now, the first game that he came in, I think when Veselinovic went down, not a great game. He's coming off the bench, forget it. The games that he has started, he has grown from strength to strength, and he has become a very, very good option at center back. I'm not going to say he's a starter because you got to get past Veselinovic and Blackman, and that's very difficult to do. But he is absolutely, you have no worries when you put in Bilal Halbouni. Yeah,
and just using his strength, with the ball to clear it, to push the defenders off the ball. It's kind of what you need. You need that big, strong center back, and Bilal Halbouni is that. And like we said earlier about Bovalina, give the guy time to settle in and get more minutes, and then he can do his job. We saw that with Halbouni. And to some extent, Tate Johnson did well at the back. Nervous in like the first 15, 20 minutes, but he just settled in. He was more calm with the ball, also being aggressive on the ball carrier and moving the ball up the pitch as well. And unfortunately, no Cascadia Cup yet for the Whitecaps. They still have a chance to do it on the weekend. Yeah. And Whitecaps didn't officially clinch home field advantage for the first round, but of course there's still a chance to that with the tight race to the top in MLS. And overall, a tale of two halves. You could tell this was a team missing 7 starters.
Yep.
And we got the weekend game against Seattle at Lumen Field. And Whitecaps will be getting some help because Thomas Muller is available for selection, and he has been training the past couple of days. And don't know if that means he'll start or come off the bench, but Sorensen pretty much hinted, he'll play.
The other thing I want to mention before we move on from this match, Bilal Halbouni had the most passes of anyone in the game, 68. His pass accuracy, 100%.
You did not make one bad pass, so that's very
not accurate. One bad pass. 9 defensive contributions, 6 clearances, 7 recoveries. This guy was alive in this match.
Yeah, and there were a lot of bad passes in that first half, particularly from like the midfield, but
they weren't from Halbouni. I'll say that right now.
Halbouni, yeah. So yeah, Seattle, as I mentioned, this weekend, Muller will play. Gold. It's been revealed just today that he won't, but next week is when you should be anticipating to see him back. We don't know which game that will be yet, but Gold return is imminent, and Seattle are 5th in the Western Conference, 12.99 record. Obviously won Leagues Cup. But since Leagues Cup, it's been a draw and 2 losses for them.
Including a loss against who they played against in the Leagues Cup, too.
Inter Miami. And last game, they lost in Austin at the very last minute, which kind of did help the Whitecaps and also drew 2-2 to LA Galaxy at home. So it looks like the Leagues Cup hangover.
I still want the Whitecaps to continue to fight for whatever position they can get, whether that's first in the West or first overall. First overall is going to be very, very difficult. It was always going to be difficult, being that they had to win every game. But there are enough games still that we just can't get a clear picture, right? There's too many teams that are still in this hunt, which is amazing. This is one of the best finishes to a regular season of MLS that I've ever seen.
Probably the best.
Yeah.
Because I can't really think of another season. And I believe this is Inter Miami Supporter Shield to lose anyway, because they have extra games in hand. And they demolished New York City on Wednesday in New York 4-0. And just looking at Miami's schedule here, here's just who they play. Toronto, Chicago, New England, Atlanta, and Nashville. So they should pretty much win every game, although Nashville will probably give them a hard time because they're good.
The thing is there's a lot of teams right at their heels. Yep. So Inter Miami, if they slip up, there's others ready and willing to take their place. It's just that Miami's not a team known for slipping up at this point of the season. So we'll have to wait and see. Anything can happen. Yeah. And Miami has more games left than anyone else. They're still only at 29 games played this season. Whitecaps are at 30. Most others are at 31. So there is more of an opportunity for Miami to slip up. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So for me, the Supporter Shield at this point would be a nice bonus. The draw kind of rebel things out, but what's really possible is top place in the Western Conference. San Diego's only a point ahead.
I think it would be great.
Yeah. They nearly did it in 2015 and 2017, but they blew the leads early. In San Diego, they played the San Jose Earthquakes on Saturday, or at the same time the Whitecaps were playing Seattle. And Seattle, Leagues Cup hangover, it looks like. They're trying to get back into form. And we try to get the sting out of losing last minute in Austin. Austin have really climbed the table too.
They have, yeah.
Of course, we all know about. We mentioned Obad Vargas, one of the best young midfielders in the league. Pedro de la Vega coming into his own in the league. Christian Roldan, been a Caps killer. Jordan Morris, I believe, is their leading scorer. And, of course, Stephen Fry, the goalkeeper, has been there pretty much forever.
Yeah. Fry is definitely a fixture.
Yeah, we last saw these teams at BC Place in June. That was the game after the Champions Cup final where the Whitecaps dealt with that stomach problem, yet they beat Seattle 3-0.
Yeah.
And this time it's going to be at Lumen Field in Seattle. Whitecaps, they just need a draw at this point to clinch the Cascadia Cup. But it would be really nice to get another win, especially against the Cascadia rival. To do the double over Seattle, which I don't think they've ever done since they came into MLS.
I'm not too sure.
I really don't think I got to look that up later. And it's crunch time.
what it would mean in terms of the void, or in terms of the Cascadia Cup. Also, it would be a record. 4 wins. It would move them up to, I believe, 8.
Yeah, 8 Cascadia Cups.
Yeah, where Seattle I think is on 7, Portland's on 6.
Yeah, couldn't do it against Portland, but they could do it in Seattle. But after that, it's another big game. Canadian Championship final at BC Place, the all Lower Mainland derby. Whitecaps against Vancouver FC.
Everyone is talking about this game as if it's already done and dusted, that the Whitecaps have already won this because
they should win this.
Vancouver FC has won, 3 games all season in the CPL. It is
last place.
90 minutes. It's 90 minutes.
Penalties.
The league doesn't matter. Your play beforehand doesn't matter. Anything can happen in 90 minutes.
Yeah. Vancouver FC. People underestimated them in the Champions Cup run so far. Upset Atletico Ottawa, and somehow made it to the final. And Martin Nash has done a good job of kind of steering the ship with what he has.
There's also something to be said about being on Vancouver FC and coming into the building of, quote, the bigger team in your region, and wanting to prove yourself, right? I think that's going to be extra motivation. I don't know if it's extra motivation that can actually hinder, that mentality that can sometimes build up. I think for the Whitecaps, it's going to be just play your game as usual. Vancouver FC, I don't think they have. The pressure is on the Whitecaps, but I don't think they're going to feel it.
Yeah,
there is no pressure on Vancouver FC, but I think they might feel it. If that's weird, right? It's a weird.
Yeah, it's the biggest game in their club history.
Yeah, right.
Right, and there's a lot of connections between the two sides. Vancouver FC, obviously, Nicholas Mosqueda will return to BC Place,
and Martin Nash.
Martin Nash too, and of course, former Whitecaps Academy products Mateo Camania, Vasco Fry, are among Vancouver FC's roster. And Vancouver FC in their last CPL game, just taking a look here, they actually they beat York at home on Sunday, which is kind of a surprise. And Vancouver also hosts Halifax Wanderers on Sunday before they head to BC Place on the bus. Yeah, so Whitecaps should win this game. Should, but anything can happen.
One more thing to mention about the Whitecaps before we... Oh, actually, one thing I also wanted to mention about this. Vancouver FC, first CPL team to make CanChamp finals.
Yeah, it was them of all teams.
Yeah, which is, that's a nice little bit of
Ottawa, Forge. Yeah, and this is the first...
Sorry, go ahead.
This is the first meeting between the two Vancouver sides, and it should be a good game. The memes should be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Whitecaps get the dub.
CONCACAF has confirmed the dates for the upcoming Champions Cup 2026 draw. Whitecaps have been a part of this tournament for the past 3 seasons by way of Voyager, the Voyagers Cup.
Voyagers, yep.
That draw is going to happen on December 9th. So at that point, we'll be able to see, depending on who wins on Wednesday, where that Canadian team fits in.
Yeah, I read this somewhere, but there's still a chance Vancouver FC could actually be in this competition somehow. I don't remember how though. Something to do with the Whitecaps. Besides that, the Whitecaps winning MLS Cup, because for some reason.
Oh, you know what? There's been, because I know if a Canadian team won MLS Cup, that used to not count. It would go to the next American team. But there was a bit of a change in that.
There was.
And well, man, you know what? I never thought it was going to be a possibility this fast, so I'd actually have to look that up to see what the change was.
Yeah, someone mentioned that there's still a chance Vancouver FC could still make it. I lost a tweet a few days ago. So, hopefully the Whitecaps, by then, they'll know their fate in the Champions Cup draw. Muller and the gang next year will try to redeem themselves, recreate that magic of last year, and hopefully try to win it.
Moving across to the Vancouver Rise. Fortunately, woes continue. A 3-0 loss at Swangard for their final home game of the regular season. You know what? I'm going to be the first to say this was a much better game from the Rise.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They were by far the dominant team, but they could not deal with Ottawa's
with the transition.
Ottawa took every chance that they had and made something with it. Vancouver let chances squander.
Because Vancouver wasn't taking most of their chances.
Vancouver had 64% possession in this game and more than double the number of shots. They controlled the ball. But as soon as they would lose it, they'd bury it. And I think if you go back, and I think it's Ottawa's second goal, if I remember right, this was actually Pridham, who's leading the league by far.
Leading the league.
No, sorry, this was
tighter.
Pridham's goal. It was started by their goalkeeper with a long throw,
launching it up
a quick flick on in midfield into Pridham's path and in. From goalkeeper to the next goal, I don't think it was 8 seconds.
Yeah, I think the first goal was similar too.
The first goal again was another very quick transition. I believe it was Downing, and I believe it was a switch of play.
Yeah, Downing
coming back to where she began when she used to play with TSS Rovers.
That's one guy. Yep, she's from this area.
Yep.
So nice.
And I believe that was Downing's first goal with Rapid.
Yep, I believe it was.
Again, squandered chances. Story of this
squandered chances, and then the defense just shuts off on the transitions. It really felt like when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, maybe the Rise could actually try to, get a win, but no, they weren't taking their chances well, and then just the transitions. That's what happens when you play the line so high.
Yeah.
And
so right now,
to
Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal have clinched playoff spots as they move in. Vancouver's holding down that fourth and final spot, but they have not clinched yet. Now, they have a 12-point lead over fifth place Calgary Wild. It seems inevitable, but Vancouver, not only do they have to start finding win, they haven't scored in the last couple of games either.
Yeah, fine. Just put the ball in it.
The last time they scored was the 6-0 win last home game.
No, we saw it. Yeah, against Calgary. So Vancouver travels to Halifax for Saturday's game against the Tides. That ends the regular season.
You would think that is a winnable game, especially when Tides have only won 3 games all season.
Yeah, they're dead last.
Yeah.
So
they're dead last. They're playing with an interim coach.
For.
Their goalkeeper, who they signed, their main goalkeeper is done. She's out for the entire season and basically will head into retirement.
Yep.
This is a team that, I hate to say it, is ripe for the taking.
Yeah, and nothing to lose for them. Rise, a chance to clinch the playoff spot.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And figure out to put the ball in the net is what we
Let's stay with Canada Soccer. Let's move back over to the CPL. We have a brand new team. Was announced on Wednesday in Montreal. FC Supra de Quebec. This is a new team, but it's the revitalization of an old CSL team from the late 80s, early 90s.
The badge. The badge was inspired by that team. And let's show the people here. For those watching.
I like it.
Yep,
I think it's
I like it. It's simple and it's very soccer.
Doesn't it look like an old school classic Italian badge?
That's what I was thinking too. So, yep.
I like it. Now, they're going to be playing at the same stadium where Montreal Roses play, which is in Laval. Obviously, stadium sharing will be done there. It's nice that this is done. The CPL has been missing a team in the province of Quebec somewhere for a long time.
Since the league was thought of.
With CF Montreal, I honestly thought that this team would eventually come in Quebec City. The fact that it's in Laval, which is basically just north of Montreal, I think is a bit of a surprise for me. But you've got to go where ownership groups want to go.
Yeah, man, there's already a stadium there. So
Montreal FC has been fighting this for a long time because, obviously it's like the whole idea with, like, say, the Toronto Maple Leafs in the NHL, and they don't want another team in the lower part of Ontario. They're worried about, players being poached. And if you all of a sudden get an FC Supra that starts to do well, given how CF Montreal has been doing lately, I got to be honest. Before this, months ago, I was genuinely starting to become worried about whether or not FC Montreal could continue as a viable MLS club. This has done nothing to assuage my fears.
No, this just increases the fears.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
And if Super come out right out of the gate, people in Montreal be like, oh, wow, that's that new soccer team. They're really good. Let's go out and see them and support them.
And you know what? It could be the exact opposite. Maybe this lights a fire underneath the ass of FC Montreal. I hope it does, because this is a team that I think has squandered what it has. This is a team that has a very good academy, yet refuses to
have a second team.
MLS Next Pro. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. When you think of how many players that play on the Canadian national team have come through Montreal or their academy.
Saliba, Kone, to name a few.
Yeah. Jonathan David, I believe, is from that area, or at least came through.
I think he's from Ottawa, but he came through.
He's from Ottawa, area. But I believe he actually came through Montreal's academy. And just please correct me if I'm wrong, but I was having this conversation with AGR, and we were trying to think of other names. Again, I think this is great for the CPL. 9 teams is a bit of a worry. It means that one team is going to have a bye every week, which is not great, but it's growth. And I'll take
it's something
any day of the week.
Kind of like the CFL, where they have 9 teams too. One team has a bye every week, and really, it's only fair.
Yeah. Now, one of the other interesting things that came out of this press conference was the commissioner saying that as of next season, 2026, all games are going to be on regular broadcast linear television.
I would assume that's TSN and CBC.
It could also just be One Soccer being finally moved to these different channels as well. We know that they're already on the TELUS, and the court case over them, with the whole fiasco with Rogers, I believe, is now done. And they were basically told, figure it out. So I'm not too sure. It could be that, or it could be on TSN where the broadcast is handled by One Soccer. I'm not too sure. But anyway, they will be available, which I think is phenomenal news to try and grow a league. You can't grow a league
if people don't see it
on streaming. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
how do you think MLS grew?
Yeah, right.
People linear TV, and Johnson also said that includes Canadian national teams, so even better.
Which we have been seeing a little bit, like the
more
deal to show them on TSN. So this is nice. Pacific FC are for sale.
They are up for sale, and you know what?
This is a long time coming. This is a long time coming.
They just kind of needed to happen since they also own Vancouver FC.
Yeah. And that was always the idea behind it, is that they would be for sale, but it took a while to actually get to this point, and I don't think it needed to take this long. I'm happy that it's happening. I hope something is done relatively quickly, and I hope something is done relatively quickly enough to figure out what's going to go on between Pacific FC and Starlight Stadium. Because the city of Langford, who kind of operates the stadium, they're still waiting for a few bills to be paid. So there was an article that came out earlier in the week that said they're still waiting for a bill, quite a few bills that are attached to the operations, the management, and some of the staffing of Starlight. We also know that they've been basically without a lease for quite a while. The 5-year lease was up, I believe, in 2023. So the last couple of seasons have been without a lease. Rumor is that the club may be looking to try and move to somewhere more centrally within Victoria.
Like Victoria.
Centennial Stadium has been named. Another stadium has been named as well, and the name is escaping me. But you got to think, with the amount of work they did on Starlight to make this a stadium, moving the pole, changing the stands, getting it ready. And it's such a beautiful stadium.
Decorating the stadium in Pacific colors.
Yeah. I'm of two minds. One, I get it. Langford is kind of the northernmost community of the whole greater Victoria era. If you're in Victoria, is Langford a bridge too far to go out for a match? I don't think it is. We've made the trip from Vancouver. You can do it. But if you are playing centrally, you're just that much more accessible.
Yeah, especially to people living in Victoria.
No, there's nothing in it. Now, the thing is depending on where they move, it's going to be difficult to find spaces. Centennial Stadium has tenants already. I mean, you've got UVic that's playing there. The Highlanders aren't there anymore because they're kind of really not part of League One BC anymore. They're doing their own academy stuff, but there might be a place there. I wish I could remember the name of this other stadium. It's escaping me, but in the long run, might be the best move.
Yeah. Vancouver FC and Pacific played a game there at Centennial Stadium not too long ago. And the Lions played a game there last year, and I'm definitely will. Seems like now we'll play a game or two there. Excuse me, due to the World Cup.
It sounds actually World Cup. The Lions might be moving and playing
also in Kelowna as well. And just reading here, the city of Langford accuses the team of owing more than $24,000 to Langford's field operator and to small businesses that provide food and beverages.
Yeah, so I don't think it's done. My hope is that any sort of sale, and there is a company that has been named that is handling the management of the sale. My hope is it's done fast. I know these things never are done fast, but my hope is that it's done fast enough and amicable enough that whatever happens with Starlight is that there's no bad blood, that they always leave the option open for returning or maintaining it and renewing for another 5 years, whatever happens to be the case. All right. That's Canada and North America. Let's move across the pond. Chelsea, what have they been up to, Josh? You are silent again. You know what? I'm going to move on. Let's talk about Tottenham. So Tottenham had a couple of games over the past week, one in the league with Brighton and then also in the ELF Cup, which now has started into the third round. The game against Brighton was a weird one. I'm going to parallel it to the game that they played earlier in the season. I believe it was Brentford, where they lost 1-0. It was a horrible game. This game 2-2. They actually had to come from two from behind to begin this, but it was actually a much better game for Spurs. In fact, it felt like one of those games where they could still come back into this and win. It was a dominant game, full of possession, full of good attacking play. It was just a matter of getting shots on the net. 2 goals they only managed, and they only had 3 shots on net. So again, when we talk about teams that get into good positions, but they can't get that final finish, that happened to be the case here today. Richarlison, who I believe has already beat his mark in goals from last season with what he's been able to do already this year. And then an own goal that came late in the game in the 82nd minute to tie it. Not the best, not what we would have liked to have happened to finish things off, but it does keep Tottenham tied for second in the Premier League. Got to say, 5 games in, if I was going to say that they're tied for second, I would be very, very happy. I'm not going to complain too much. Over the midweek match, we played Doncaster Rovers. Doncaster, good side. I want to say League One.
Yeah, League One.
Yeah. And I believe it's interesting because Tottenham actually has a player out there on loan right now, and I believe he played in the match, which is not something you normally see.
And he can play against
nothing, 3-0 win. Nothing really to talk about. It wasn't really anything other than what was expected. But I think we have to mention João Palhinha. Palhinha was playing as a center back in this game, basically to give Romero and Mickey Van de Ven a bit of a rest. The overhead kick in the 14th minute, if you get a chance to see it, well executed. Basically, it started Tottenham on the way. And 3 minutes later, they scored again off an own goal that was completely created by Odegaard. significant changes in this lineup. I believe Thomas Frank made 7 changes to the lineup. It looked very well handled, very well done. And they will move on to play Newcastle, who are the holders of this tournament from last year in the 4th round. So, yeah, not the easiest contest for them.
It's going to be in Newcastle, right?
Yes, and that game will be in Newcastle.
Yeah.
So, since Danny Levy has no longer is the commissioner,
no longer is there,
we've had a couple of bids that came right off. One from Amanda, the woman who was part of the bid for Newcastle back in the day, her group, and another group. Both of them were thrown out right away. Well, we have a third one. Tech entrepreneur Brooklyn Eric is heading a 12-person group out of the United States to make a bid for Tottenham. And they are bidding what is being reported as a world record bid for a Premier League club of £4.5 billion for the club. Now, what this includes would be $3.3 billion specifically to buy out all the shares of ENIC, Lewis, Levy, and all that. It would include another, I think it was about 400 million for all the outstanding shares that are not owned by them. ENIC, I believe, owns 83% through their holdings. Another 1.2 billion pounds just for new transfers, which is insane when you think about it. Apparently, there is already a 250 million pound stadium naming rights deal already a part of this bid through this guy that's already been negotiated. And apparently part of this 12-person group includes investors that are already a part of the NFL and the NBA. Now, Tottenham came out through ENIC and the Lewis family and said, under no uncertain terms, are we interested? We do not want this. Now, the way UK law works is what was registered was a statement of interest, not an outright bid. When a statement of interest is denied, the people who put the statement together now have it's something like, I think, 4 weeks to actually make a bid. So they have until, I believe it's October 23rd, 25th, something like that, to actually make a bid.
So basically a month.
Yeah. Whether or not they do it, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think this is the end of it. I think there are a number of prospective buyers out there in the world that want part of the Premier League club, and they're looking at Tottenham as the club to try and grab. And they're going to be testing the Lewis family's resolve. The fact that this is a £4.5 billion bid, which is a record.
Yeah,
I think it's just the beginning. It's estimated that this bid right now is probably overpaying for Spurs by about £2 billion. So that gives you an idea of how desperate people want to get into this league. We'll have to wait and see if they actually decide to, put their money where their mouth is and make the bid. And then, the Lewis family, ENIC, and yada, yada will have to deny it outright. But I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy how, especially when you take a look at this, at how it breaks down as well. The fact that this also has NFL investors is another reason why they're targeting Tottenham as well, because of the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it's set up right away for an NFL team. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Only other news to report when it comes to Tottenham is it has been revealed that Harry Kane, who has, I believe it's a £67 million release clause built into his contract, that release clause drops to £54 million this January. Tottenham has still the first option clause. So anyone that makes a bid, they still have to go back to Spurs for it as well. There's been a lot of talk about this. Harry Kane obviously also just broke the 100-goal mark for the fastest in history in Bundesliga with Bayern just yesterday as well. So
apparently the only
player
to do that. Yep. And he did that against Chelsea last week. But also, so I'm just looking here, Brooklyn Eric. He was a DJ for a few years before he moved on to working for NASA.
Yeah.
worked with NFTs, and he founded this company called Redacted R&D. Tried to buy a Formula E team, but that never happened. So now sets his sight on the Premier League.
Wait and see. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Chelsea.
I apologize for the sound on my mic's not working, so I'm using my headphones mic. So, Harry Kane scores 2 goals against Chelsea against Bayern Munich. One was a penalty, which Caicedo pretty much clipped him in the box, clear penalty. Second one, it was just Harry Kane taking advantage of Chelsea, giving the ball away. First goal was an own goal by Trevor Chalobah, but Harry Kane was literally right there. So it probably would have counted for him as a hat trick if own goals weren't a thing. Yeah, they played well in that game. Excuse me, but own mistakes ended up costing them. Giveaways, bad tackles, but you could argue that Jonathan Tah should have gotten a red for elbowing Joao Pedro in the head. Joao Pedro was fine. And Cole Palmer scored a beautiful solo goal in the first half before halftime. But that wasn't enough. Bayern was going to be tough anyway, but they probably should have done better in this game to make it closer. And then Manchester United, Old Trafford, have not won there since 2013. There must be something in the water there.
How dare you made them look good?
Because every time they go there, they look terrible. There really has to be something in the water there from the rain that leaks from the roof or whatever.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes in, Brian Mbembo is through on goal. And then what does Robert Sanchez do? He pretty much goes Karate Kid mode on him and gets sent off. 5 minutes. That's all it took. It would have been better to let Mbembo score anyway. That was infuriating on his own. Robert Sanchez is back to his foolish ways. And then this was even more foolish. Enzo Maresca takes off Pedro Neto, takes him off Willian Esteval for Andre Santos, a midfielder. Oh no, for Tosin, another defender who probably should have started, and the goalkeeper Jorgensen. And then Cole Palmer gets injured. He re-injures his groin, but wasn't 100% anyway, so why did he start? So the only attacker in the game was Joao Pedro, who tried to do everything himself. And to make matters worse, Bruno Fernandes scored and Casemiro scored. Chelsea were down 2-0. But they got a break thanks to Casemiro pretty much clipping Fofana for a second yellow, but no changes at halftime. But Maresca does not bring on Gittins or Garnacho. He brings on Tyreek George and Malo Gusto. Yeah, poor game management all around. Chalobah did score, but it's too little too late at that point. It was pretty much one team was barely trying to attack, and another team wasn't even attacking at all. That's what the second half was like. One of the worst games you'll ever see all season. And yeah, Old Trafford. I hate that ground. I don't know what it is. So, but they did win in the EFL Cup, but it wasn't easy. No, because they were down 1-0 at halftime, and Philip Jorgensen, he keeps mistiming his jumps. He ended up punching Wesley Fofana in the head by accident, and now he's out for 12 days with a concussion. And one goalkeeper can't pass and keeps making silly mistakes. Another can't catch and can't time his jumps and catches. Well done, Paul. Well done, Lawrence. And Mike Mangone was offered to them, but they didn't want to pay an extra $5 million. Well done. Luckily, Federico Benedante scored his first goal for Chelsea. Tyreek George won it. So well done to Tyreek George for making the most of his minutes.
even though he was pretty much going to be sold to Fulham, but it fell out. And to make things worse for Chelsea, more injuries. Tosin is out until after the international break with a calf injury. I think he sustained that in training. And Cole Barber is out 2 to 3 weeks. So, that's not good. Oh, no, no Delap, no Colwell. And no Badiashile, and no Lavia and Essigo. So that's like 8 players out with injuries. So Brighton at home next. Brighton always a tough test for any Big Six side. I would assume Esteval plays into 10. And Garnacho better start because we still haven't seen much of him, though he did look good against Lincoln. And just try to get the win. Get back to winning ways because it's been a rough week and people are already freaking out. You know how people are on social media. And then Benfica at home in the Champions League. Jose Mourinho returns to Stamford Bridge. That should be interesting. So that's Chelsea. It's been rough for the past week or so. This is big. Spain has been threatening to pull out of next year's World Cup if Israel competes. And they're citing Russia as an example. And they're doing this for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean, we can go down into the depths of exactly what's going on with, Israel and Palestine and all that. I think, we're a sports podcast. We're not going to go into that. It's very easy to find enough information on that. What we can say,
we're not educated enough to talk about that.
That too, right? What we can say is that it does sound like a vote with UEFA could be happening as soon as next week over whether or not Israel could be banned from continuation of the World Cup qualifier process. Right now in World Cup qualifiers, after 5 games, they're sitting 3rd in their group behind Norway, who's in 1st. They're tied on points with Italy. Italy's played 1 less game, though, by the way, so that puts them there. Now, in Europe, top team qualifies, 2nd team goes into a playoff. So right now, they're not even in that situation yet. There is also the note that the United States has already said that they will not allow a ban of any kind to happen, but they can only put pressure on FIFA. They can't put pressure on UEFA. And this that's happening next week is a UEFA vote. Nothing FIFA can do about it. So it's going to be really interesting. This could come to a head next week, depending on which way this vote goes. We'll have to wait and see. Other news that comes out of the World Cup is the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is threatening to remove host cities that he deems unsafe, which at this point happens to be a city that is a Democratic city.
Yeah, like LA or Chicago.
Yeah. With LA, he's also threatened to move the Olympics as well. So we can throw that into the mix.
Yeah, which I don't think is even possible. And Trump says that any city is deemed unsafe, pretty much. Yeah, they'll move the games out of there somehow. And this is the guy
You're less than a year away from a World Cup for the first time being hosted by 3 countries, and you are woefully behind a schedule already. It can't be done. It can't be done.
And he mentioned Seattle and San Francisco and LA as possible cities. So another day in the life of President Trump saying.
There you go. We do got mascots though, so hey, why not?
On a more lighter note, the mascots for the World Cup have been unveiled, and each mascot pretty much represents the 3 countries: Canada, United States, and of course Mexico.
United States, we have the eagle. I don't know. It probably has a name. I'm not too sure what the name is.
I'm trying to bring it up here.
Yeah. I know Canada, moose is Maple the Moose because there's a caricature if you ever needed one.
Yep. And Mexico is Zayu the Jaguar.
Jaguar, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, and the eagle's name is Clutch, which I guess is fitting.
Clutch?
Yeah. I thought his name would be like Eddie.
Yeah. No, it's too much. Wrong sport. You know what? They're mascots. Mascots, in my mind, are often made for children. So they're approachable, they're cute. I got no problem with them.
Though I think Maple's nose is a little big, but he's a moose, so I can't.
He's a moose. Judge. That's fine.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
Why not, right?
It's big
everywhere else, but hey, we've got cartoons.
Yeah. Plus, it's for the families, for the kids, and kids will love to take pictures with these guys at the games or before the games. Every big tournament, sporting event needs one. Like when we had the Olympics here, we got Miga, Kwachi, Sumi, and Mukmuk for.
Good on you for remembering those names. Wow.
They're my childhood, man. Like I still have the stuffed toys somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah. And if you have kids, you could possibly buy a stuffed toy or a set of stuffed toys for each of the World Cup mascots too.
There you go.
So that concludes this week's episode. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Again, sorry about the sound. I'll probably just use my regular headphones next week because I think this mic and the headphones are interfering. And shame because these headphones are really good. So follow me on Twitter at JoshuaRay00, Nathan and Derek. Podcast Terminal City FC. Follow Instagram, YouTube as well. Terminal City FC. We're on Blue Sky as well. Search up our names. So is the podcast. Check out all the articles for Air Sports Network, not just from us with Whitecaps and soccer, but PWHL, Seattle Seahawks, WHL, some NHL. We got stuff.
There's a load.
Yeah, especially this time of year where so many sports are going on.
Exactly. You got everything that's starting up new over the winter. You've got all the summer ones finishing up. It's a great time to be a fan.
Yeah. October is next week, and October is the best month for any sports fan.
Hockey.
Hockey, baseball playoffs, NBA's back, MLS, Premier League, and of course, NFL. So that concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.